Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is JD. Who's here with me?
It's Michelle.
It's Michelle. It's always Michelle. Every single time except that one time that we don't talk about. Except when we talk about it.
The worst episode.
Anyway, wow, that was the one where all them folks from Chicago were
Yeah, but I wasn't there.
Wow. Okay,
I wasn't there. I'm sorry. It could have been a good one.
Wow. Anyway, moving on. It's Spooktober, guys. We're dropping a new episode every day in the month of October, as we have done for the last 3 years running. This year, our theme is we're doing all movies that are heavily connected with Halloween. We're doing some more PG-13 R-rated horror films, and we're also doing some more like PG, family-friendly kind of films. We're talking about one of those today, a classic from my childhood, one that I have seen so many times. It's been a long time since I saw it, but I'll just tell you right away, one that I used to just throw on and watch on repeat on the VHS on a pretty regular basis. Ernest Scared Stupid. Michelle?
Yeah.
Had you? I guess I figured you would be more impressed by the revelation that I've seen this movie a jillion times. How many times
I'm not
seen?
Surprised.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean.
No, I'm saying a lot of people have seen this movie a lot. There is a big nostalgia factor to this movie. That's why I'm not surprised.
Like, Michelle, I understand the words that you used were, I'm not surprised, but the tone you used was, yeah, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. But also, I'm not surprised.
I need therapy to stop reading so much into people's tone of voice.
Maybe I should just start donating half of my sessions to you. And you can just, like, wear a wig and be like, hello, I'm here to talk about my problems.
I'm going to see my psychiatrist on Monday. We're going to make arrangements for a new therapist through their office. Hopefully, it's going to be fine. But
mental health, you guys. It is not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
That is correct. That is okay. It's okay to not be okay, but you gotta put in some work. If you having trouble finding the motivation to put in some work, drop JD and Michelle a line on our social medias. We'll help kick you in the butt, get you going. We care about you.
And if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
Rude, Michelle.
I know.
Rude.
Well, I don't have any bitches in my life. That's a nice thing.
Well, that's
all my
fair.
friends are
that's
good.
Fair.
And well, they are bitches, but not to me, and they're not a problem. So.
All right. Can we talk about this movie?
I guess. I've been postponing.
I completely blew right by it. Did you say you had never seen this before now?
This was my first time watching it today.
Okay, so how familiar were you with the Ernest P. Worrell character in general before watching this?
I have this knowledge in the back of my brain that I have seen a lot of Ernest. I know that my grandma was a big fan and that she had several VHS tapes, and I know the one that's like Ernest Talks About Dogs or something like that. I really enjoyed that VHS, but I have no memory of any of the actual movies or anything. I know for a fact I've seen a lot of Ernest. I don't have any memory of what Ernest.
There was I believe a Saturday morning kids show.
I also watched that. Yep.
Hey Vern, It's Ernest is the name of that show. No, Ernest P. Worrell, I guess, started out as like an advertising character. Jim Varney was a comedian, a character comedian, had all these different characters that he would do, and then this guy, Cherry, what is it, John Cherry? Let me double check here. John Cherry, yeah, he was an advertising guy at the time, and he worked with Jim Varney, and they started putting his characters into commercials, and then he's in a couple of smaller movies, and then eventually just through those commercials and stuff just exploded. In the late 80s and early 90s, Jim Varney as Ernest P. Worrell was fucking everywhere, right? Just like everybody knew who Ernest was. It was a legitimate phenomenon. and was a lot of fun. I was a big fan of Ernest growing up. Know what I mean, Vern?
Know what I mean, Vern? Yeah, I have this like deep in the core of my body. I know that I was an Ernest fan.
That that's how big of a deal Ernest was. Is that phrase? Know what I mean, Vern? Or even just know what I mean? Is for the longest time. Like, that was part of the popular vernacular, right? Like,
it's like the Budweiser "What's up," where everybody knew it.
Like, they wouldn't even just, like, people would say, know what I mean, Vern, specifically, right? Mm-hmm. You know, because, like I said, Ernest says it a bunch of different ways, but that specific expression became, like, you would hear it everywhere. Ernest was a huge thing. I knew they had made several movies. I didn't know coming in. They made 9 movies, 9 Ernest films before unfortunately Jim Varney passed away. The last 3 of them, I guess, went directly to video, but that's still 9 films. You got Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Jail, Ernest Scared Stupid, Ernest Rides Again, Ernest Goes to School, Slam Dunk Ernest, Ernest Goes to Africa, and Ernest in the Army. He also made his first feature film appearance, by the way, in a movie I have seen. I believe it's available on Tubi. It's called Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, and it's fucking weird. Let me tell you, it's weird in a way that you would not expect an Ernest P. Worrell appearing thing to be, but it's pretty cool. It's from 1985. Check it out. Anyway, there's your history lesson about Ernest P. Worrell.
I don't want to make assumptions, but I'm going to make an assumption that Ernest Goes to Africa probably does not hold up. I can only imagine.
Well, I tell you what, I'm looking at the DVD cover, and that one might very much be a product of its time. Just looking at the DVD cover, but
just a prediction that one might just deserve to be lost.
I think it's important to note that it definitely of its time in a way where there was clearly no malice of any kind meant, but that doesn't make it any more appropriate. Just an important clarifying factor.
We're just smarter now, and we know.
we know better. We know better.
Some of us.
I gotta stop looking at the cover of that DVD. It's weird. I hadn't even thought of that until you brought it up, and now I'm just like, oh man, I kind of want to watch it, but then also I kind of don't.
Wow, this 27-year-old movie about a white guy going to Africa and he's a comedian. What could possibly go wrong?
I have no idea.
Know what I mean, Vern?
Know what I mean, Vern? Yeah. So anyway, Ernest Scared Stupid. That's the one we're watching, of course, because it's connected with Halloween. Takes place right there around Halloween. All the big stuff going down on Halloween night. In fact. Michelle, you want to read the Descrippy script that we settled on? It was the IMDb one, right?
Yeah, correct. Okay, the Descrippy script from IMDb. Whew. Ernest accidentally unleashes an ugly troll that plots to transform children into wooden dolls in the town of Briarville, Missouri. Ernest Scared Stupid, 1991, rated PG, an hour and 31 minutes. JD.
Yeah.
I am curious.
Are you really?
This one. No, I actually am. I want to know how you felt about watching this movie. What would you rate it on a scale of 0 to 5 human skulls?
Like I said, I watched this a ton of times when I was a kid. There was a period of time where we couldn't afford to have cable TV, but we had a bunch of VHS tapes of stuff that had been taped off TV that I got from like some cousins and stuff. This is one of them. I probably almost wore this tape out. Hadn't seen it in, I would guess, 30 years, maybe a little less, 25. I would say probably 95. So, yeah, 30 years, let's call it. God damn it, Michelle. Even with the nostalgia, this movie holds up. Like, this to me is a really fun, decent Halloween movie that you can absolutely watch with your family. It is of its time. There are a couple of little things along the way that, again, you gotta be like, it was 1991. But I love this movie. It's one of my Halloween favorites. It's going back into my rotation for the Halloween season right away. It's not quite perfect, but Ernest Scared Stupid, because of my love for it, my nostalgia for it, and honestly because I think it's that good, this is 4.5 skulls.
4.5 out of 5 from JD.
Yeah, I love this film. How about you, Michelle? You want to give us your spoiler-free thoughts?
I'm kind of scared too.
Oh, God.
Okay. This is my Hubie Halloween. I like the Ernest character. I think Jim Varney is very charming. This plot, I am such a jaded and dark individual that you cannot give me a Halloween movie with a man who is friends with that many children and have me not go to the darkest places. You cannot have this many children go missing in this town and have nobody suspect Ernest. If this had been like rated R realistic movie, maybe, but oh boy. I have no nostalgia for it, and watching it in my mid-30s for the first time was a mistake. 1 skull.
Wow.
Yeah. The comedy did not work for me. I like Eartha Kitt. So she's in there and that's good. And Jim Varney, I enjoy him and I enjoy Ernest, but none of this was funny to me, and that ruins a lot of it. And the plot, oh boy. I do not like the plot. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with the plot? I suppose
this
we'll
is
talk
one
about it in
that
the spoiler section.
Yeah, this is one of those that if I had seen this, I would have been very quiet about it and never announced it to anybody so that I did not have to trash it. I very rarely give a 1 skull. I think I've only given like a half a skull to one movie. And it deserved it, and it could have gotten a 0, except I mostly did it just to piss off JD.
Wow.
But
okay. Well, this podcast is over.
I'm not saying this deserves a half a skull. I am saying that 1 skull is almost my 0 skull. There's some good camera work.
I hope you have a good life, Michelle.
Yeah. I mean, this does free up a lot of free time for me. If
God.
this is the ending moment.
1
I do have
skull.
June 21st
Really?
free now.
Really?
So. Yeah.
1 skull.
I wish we did not commit to doing this episode and told people about it, because I really, oh boy, I have so many friends who love this movie and I don't hold it against them. But if one of my friends told me because of this episode that they watched Ernest Scared Stupid for the first time, and then they told me that they loved it, I would reconsider that friendship.
Oh, wow. Are you saying you're reconsidering our friendship right now, Michelle?
No, I said if they watched it for the first time because of this episode.
Yeah?
They were like, I am in my 30s. I will go watch Ernest Scared Stupid. Oh, wow, I love that. I'd be like, we probably don't have as much in common as I thought that we do. We clearly have we have different beliefs and morals.
Morals?
I don't know.
All right, we got to get into the spoiler section here. 1 skull from Michelle, which is bullshit, and then a 4.5 skull from me. That's an average of 2.75. That's an average. No, no, it doesn't.
Wanted to. I really wanted to. This was a struggle.
Here's what I'm really looking forward to. Guys, if you've never seen Ernest Scared Stupid, I strongly recommend you go see it. Michelle very clearly strongly recommends you don't go see it. You make up your own damn mind.
No, I think you should go see it. I do like suffering. I'm a huge fan of the Hellraiser series, so I'm a fan of good suffering.
One thing I do want to point out, because it's not spoilery in any way, special creature effects in Ernest Scared Stupid by the legendary Kyoto brothers, who of course gave us Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Haven't seen that one either. It's
What?
been on my list for, you had me put it on my list ages ago, and it's one of those that like every time I'm like, maybe today is the day. It's been on my like prioritized list for a year and a half. And every time I'm like, maybe no. And I never watch
Wow.
it. It's been on that list for a year and a half.
Wow.
It's my list where it's not allowed to be more than 20 movies long. And I always have to select from that list. And then I bump something up to the priority list so that I have a nice like range of things based on my emotions of like, here's some stuff that I could possibly watch today. That has been there for a year and a half. I don't know if it'll ever leave. It might just be stuck in one of the spots. I can only ever have 19 other movies on there.
That's ridiculous. Anyway,
And watching this did not make that go higher on the list.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, let's get into the
The
spoiler
effects are
section
good.
here then.
It's my overall enjoyment of the film.
Just hush now, because you're about to have a chance to really give us the full Michelle's impression. I'm really curious now. Michelle is about to summarize the plot for those of you who have not seen it and don't intend to see it. I'm really curious to see how this goes. Michelle, take it away.
Okay, so it's the olden times, and there's a troll, and Ernest's great-great-grandfather or something locks away the troll, and they're like, your family will continue getting dumber and dumber and dumber until October 30th, when somebody will be dumb enough to free me. And then the result of that is Ernest. He is a dumb man, and he is friends with too many children, and none of the adults like him. And I think that's just like, that's suspicious. And then he helps the children build a treehouse, which I'm not saying that adults can't have nice bonds with children. I'm saying that when 5 children go missing in a small town, that Ernest, this could have been the start of the Ernest Goes to Prison movie, and it would have made a lot more sense to me. Even though we know he's innocent and we know that it's a troll, the fact that nobody was like, they were like, oh, they're probably just at the school dance. Let's just have a school dance anyway with all these missing children and a dog that was turned to wood. And then like, we're not going to suspect the guy who we think is fucking crazy and having a mental breakdown and yelling about a troll. So all of that is unrealistic. The troll, he gets free. He starts turning children into wooden statues. Ernest is going to save the day. Long story short, it's milk. They think that milk is the cure to fighting the troll, but they're wrong, because milk was not dumb enough of a solution. What it actually is love. Love will tame the beast. No, whatever that phrase is. So Ernest, in order to express his love, dances with the troll and then gives him a little kiss, and he explodes. And now the children are no longer wood, and the dog is no longer wood. And that is a movie that I saw. Ernest Scared Stupid, 1991.
Even your dog is mad at you right now.
I know. I finished and she was like, what the fuck?
All right. So, Michelle.
Yeah.
Your problem with this movie, intended for families and children, based on a television character from a show intended for families and children, is that there wasn't a child molestation angle?
Hold up. No. My issue is that I am watching this in my mid-30s, and I hate families. I don't have a good one. I don't like happy feelings. This would be like if you sat me down to watch Cocomelon right now, and then you expected me to like it, and I would be like, why? I don't like happy, dumb things. I don't like a feel-good thing. I'm a very dark individual, and I watch 95% of horror movies that come out. And I don't think Ernest would have made this out. It's not even like unrealistic, the whole troll coming back to life. That's fine. That happens. That's all good. But Ernest not going to jail, even though I know he's innocent, what does that say about the adults in this town that nobody else suspected him? That is bizarre. And it's not my only issue with this movie, but it is the funniest.
It's only bizarre if you're judging it as if it's something that's supposed to be mirroring reality in any way.
Is it not? Was this not based on a true story?
No.
Well, maybe it should have been.
Okay. It's just odd. It's just odd to me that, like, obviously nobody is going to suspect it's not.
That's not my main issue with the movie. I will break character for one moment and just say that it is very funny to me. But none of this humor worked for me except Ernest doing his little, like, montage of characters. I like that part. That part was kind of silly. I always liked the grandma character that he played, like the woman character, and I saw her briefly. And also Eartha Kitt was there, and like I like Eartha Kitt, so that's cool. I used to listen to a lot of her music, so that's pretty nice. Santa Baby, that's a great song. That's one of my favorite Christmas songs. But that's about it. And there's a dog in it. This is why I didn't get a 0. I like Jim Varney. I like Eartha Kitt. I like dogs. I don't like what they made for me. Specifically for me. This is a bad gift. They should take it back. But I don't like it. Rest in peace, Jim Varney. You are hotter than I remember. And that was a really weird thing to get past in this movie that I did not enjoy. But I did have to keep pausing it. And that's why we had to record late. Because I was having a really hard time.
I just don't even know what to say right now.
Well, I don't know how you didn't find Hubie Halloween funny. So I guess we're just different people.
Well, I mean, one of these movies has an appreciable sense of childlike innocence and silliness and wonder, and the other one is a fucking Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, the Adam Sandler. Do I seem like somebody who likes childlike wonder?
I mean, you did give Casper 4.75 skulls, is all I'm saying.
You hopped into the spreadsheet just so that you can see what other things I've liked or disliked. And
no, it's when you specifically said that you don't like feel good stories. Casper, yeah. 4.75. House of Clock and its Walls, 4.5.
Okay, hold up. Casper, we're not going to get into spoilers, but there's a lot of death in that movie.
Are you going to suggest it's not ultimately a feel good story?
No. It's not. That's a dark movie.
You're ridiculous. Anyway,
dark movie.
Ernest
The House
Scared
of the Clock
Stupid.
and its Walls, also a lot of death. This movie needed more actual death. If the kids were not wooden, and it didn't even have to be kids. Let's say the kids became wooden, but the adults became dead.
Now the problem with the movie is that not only were none of the children molested, but none of the children were murdered.
I never said molested. I implied that they were murdered, though, and that's what they would think. I guess, yeah, it might be safe to assume that if an adult kills a child, there are darker things going on there. But I think just the murder of a child, even kidnapping the child, I don't even think murder. I just think Ernest, there's no way that the adults in this town who already don't like him. It's not like this is a beloved person. They clearly do not like him. They think he is always stupid. They
think he's stupid. He's the village idiot, but they all like him just fine.
Also, how dare they make fun of sanitation workers? They're very important.
Okay,
and I feel like they're just like, look at this lesser human being and his job choice, when all the sanitation workers I know, they make hella good money. They are employed by the city and have great benefits. And they do a job that a lot of other people don't want to do. So, like, fuck you for making fun of sanitation workers. I don't want to do it. I'm glad somebody does. Again, I don't feel as strongly about that as my character would suggest. But it is one of the many flaws in Ernest Scared Stupid.
Is it my turn now?
I guess if you want to turn. I really did not want to talk about this on the show. I got a half hour into this and I went, fuck, can I tell JD that I want to swap and just be like, whoa, we couldn't find it streaming anywhere. Oh no. Or like, oh, we recorded it and then the file was lost. I'm so sorry that will never come out.
I'm not gonna lie, Michelle. My feelings are kind of hurt right now.
Why? Because I'm defending
this movie is rad. Well, first of all, this movie does not make fun of sanitation workers in any way, shape, or form. Ernest is a noble professional doing a job that nobody else in the town is willing to do, as you yourself just expressed. What, just because he's a little slow, he's a little silly, he's a little dim-witted, that's making fun of sanitation workers?
No, the other adults and the way that they talk about him and his sanitation job, it's not nice. The adults in this town suck. That's also another thing. I didn't like a single one of the adult characters outside of Jim Varney and Eartha Kitt. So, the troll had some okay effects. I like the way he was a little bit goopy. I'm never opposed to a little goop. A little goop's kind of nice. JD is making such the face, you guys.
You're ridiculous. This movie is rad.
I completely respect that you and so many of my other friends enjoy this because you have some nostalgia and that does color your opinion. But oh my God. Watching this in 2024 as a middle-aged woman and not watching it in a family setting, watching it by myself, it was not a fun time.
Are you really going to suggest right now that the plot of this film is any more ridiculous than the plot of Casper?
Yeah, absolutely. Casper's rooted in a lot of reality. Ghosts. Ghosts are real. Trolls aren't. Wait, trolls are real because I exist. I take that back.
I love this movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Troll effects are awesome.
I wish I loved it. I don't want to hate anything. Like, I really, not that I even hate this. I did not enjoy it. But to be honest, like, it's not even on a hate list. It's just like well, I did not enjoy that for even a little bit of time. I did not like it.
You know what?
Yeah?
Just because you gave it a 1, this is now a 5 skull movie for me.
Because I have to put it on the website then?
Yep.
I have to see the cover of Ernest Scared Stupid anytime I go to our website, wewatchshutter.com, where you can also check out the Squelch Files and my soon-to-be new and improved list for any horror movies that get released in 2025 and on. That? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's fine. I think, okay, I do need to go see something because I think confirmed our spreadsheet that we keep our ratings in does have a difference column where we indicate how big our point difference is between our enjoyment of a film. This is a -4, which means it is the most I have ever disagreed with you on a movie before.
Yeah, it would have been tied. Was the Puppet Man?
It would have been -3.5. Yep, and the Puppet Man, I stand by everything I said there.
As do I.
And then before that, Winter Beast.
God damn it, Michelle. See, here's what's also happening right now is based on your reaction to this film, I'm also now very concerned about how you're going to react to Space Invaders in a couple of days. And that... Oh man, shit could get real rough.
Worried.
We might not make it to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Michelle,
I am so scared about all of these movies.
Your torqued out Digiframus is on the line.
My what? About what?
Just don't worry about it. Everybody who's seen Space Invaders knows what I just said. Torqued out dish of Framus. Anyway, so just to really talk, so why I like this movie, again, I do have a lot of nostalgic connection to it. I thought it was a fun story, right? It's very fairy tale stuff. Stuff happens way back in olden times. Look, the timing of it is a little weird. It feels like it's supposed to, like, all that stuff in the past is supposed to have happened like several generations prior, but then Eartha Kitt is like the one kid who survived, and she's only like maybe, I don't know, 60, 70 years older. So I don't know exactly how the time on that works. Well, it's a good time. We got a bunch of kids running around town, doing shit that none of the adults believe him, except for Ernest is the only one who takes the kids seriously, which is why he's always helping them do stuff. Also, he's kind of a man-child, right? He's like the dude from Of Mice and Men, but not quite that severe. Lenny. He's just kind of a man-child sort of person. And the creature effects are fantastic. Those fucking trolls, I love every bit of them. Just Kyoto Brothers knocking it out, just like they did with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The montage moments where you have Varney going through all of his characters, and where you clearly, like, the idea is that, like, I don't know that he's changing costumes, but this is happening in front of these kids with all these different voices, because the one kid at one time acknowledges, he's like, oh, great, I got to deal with this guy with multiple personalities. It's just weird and fun and a good time, and it makes you feel good about things. And if it didn't make you feel good about things, well, that's on you. This is a fabulous film.
I totally respect your opinion.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
I know.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
just mad.
It's. I wanted to like this, but
No, you
the
didn't.
problem is
Don't lie.
comedy. I did want to like. Do you think I want to watch something? Actually, yeah, I probably would want to watch something and not enjoy it, just so that I had a way to be like, I can argue with JD today. But you're a scary and intimidating person to argue with, so I especially was like, do I lie about this and be like, Ernest Scared Stupid was the best movie I've ever seen. I like the way that it's dumb, as the name implies. And I like that I have no nostalgia, and yet I feel, what did you say, childhood wonder or something?
Yes, childhood wonder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to say just quickly before we get to the end of the episode, I have mellowed out just a little bit, and I'm not going to make you put this one on the website. I'm going to go with my original 4.5 skull rating. So this is tied with The Puppet Man for our biggest difference ever. But man,
I don't know. I think this is on par with Mad God. They definitely both belong on the 5 skull section of our website. It's a movie I watched.
You know what?
That we can
5.
agree on. Yep. I know,
You know
I'm
what?
watching your cursor. It should be a 5. It should be. Because I don't think we disagreed this much on
Why
the
don't you
Puppet
just
Man.
Why don't you just go ahead and make it a 0, Michelle? Why don't you just go ahead and make it a 0?
I don't think there's anything intentionally mean or evil or bad about the people making this movie. Therefore, it's a 1. It would dip below that if I was like, wow, Jim Varney seems like an asshole. What is his problem? He made this purely to be a dick. Then it would be different. But I feel like Ernest very earnestly was a good person.
Well, hopefully at least one of the next 3 films gets you some child molestation and murder to fulfill your bleak,
I never
sick
said
fantasies.
anything about molestation. I said that adults not suspecting the fellow adult who hangs out with children, the fact that they are not like, oh my God, I need to find my child and this is the number one suspect, is suspect in and of itself. These parents don't even like their kids. Why would
Michelle, this is very clearly an iteration of the world where that sort of stuff doesn't happen.
but yet a troll will show up and change children into wooden beings, which would not. I think that's a much more horrifying existence than them dying. Like, there's no, like, they apparently retain their memories and shit from when they come back. They're like when a caterpillar goes through its metamorphosis to become a butterfly and it turns into goo and then it becomes a butterfly and clearly remembers things from the time before it was a caterpillar, because they have run studies where they taught a caterpillar something and then they had it do it after the when it became a butterfly and it remembered. These children essentially go through a goo stage. That's horrifying. What if they were never turned back and they were forever conscious and stuck as a piece of wood and then thrown into a fire someday?
What makes you think they were conscious as a piece of wood?
Because that's where my brain goes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Well, anyway.
I mean, if they were just temporarily turned into wood, what happened to their soul? Was that just wandering around the
Oh, for Christ's sake. I can't do this anymore. Say goodnight, Michelle.
Wait, do you really? Okay. Good night, Michelle.
For more horror content, visit WeWatchShutter.com, where you'll find our world-famous, patent-pending Ghoul blog and Squelch files, as well as a schedule of upcoming episodes. Find us on social media at WeWatchShutter on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I guess Twitter, if you're still doing that for whatever reason. You can email us. mail@WeWatchShutter.com is the address. mail@WeWatchShutter.com. You can even call and leave us a voicemail, 701-566-9510. No, really. 701-566-9510. Give it a shot. See what happens. We Watch Shutter is a production of Rat Factory Media.